Well, I just finished watching Wallace and Gromit's Vengeance Most Fowl. I've never seen the first Wallace and Gromit movie, but I know of them. And I totally forgot what their characters are like. This is hilarious, man. Like, I'm counting this as a 2025 movie because it came out here in the States in 2025, which, by the way, Happy New Year, first video of the year. Um, I know that it came out in 2024 in other spots of the world, but here it came out on Netflix just about a week ago, and I'm finally getting around to watching it because I know that Wallace and Gromit are always up to their own shenanigans. I really find them to be really intriguing characters, like inventors that sometimes the technology goes awry. Like, there's so many funny things in this movie, like Feathers McGraw being the main villain, being put in prison, but the prison is actually a zoo. That's hilarious. You know, it's just things like that. There's a story here about being misunderstood, but then also being accepted. There's a story here about, you know, Grommit feeling neglected, but he is actually loved by Wallace. Like, Wallace just has good intentions for him when for the technology that he creates in this movie. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but everything just leads to such like funny banter between the two of them and funny jokes. And I was really worried going into this movie because I'm not like, it's a British property, and sometimes with the British humor it goes over my head, but there's enough here where it's like there's British humor and it's actually funny and it doesn't go over my head, and then there's stuff for like worldwide audiences that they can laugh at. It's just a charming movie. And if it takes forever for them to make another Wallace and Gromit movie because they run out of clay, man, I'm going to be sad. I hope they find clay. Find more clay. But I really enjoy this. When I look back on movies in 2025, I know it's only the first week of 2025 here, but I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up as one that I remember throughout the whole year, if you know what I mean. So this is definitely a fun watch. It's on Netflix now. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I think I'm now a massive Wallace and Gromit fan. Like, I've seen the shorts before. I haven't seen Curse of the Were Rabbit, but I have seen the shorts before. We watched them in school back when I was a kid. And so that's kind of how I know the name Wallace and Gromit, but it's never been something that's ingrained into me. But I had a blast watching this movie. This is by far a great release for January. Like, you can make this a stealth release. Like, studios are realizing January can be for stealthy releases, like something like this. And it's a smart tactic, and I'm glad that they're finally doing it. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet.